What's up, bitches?
Let's talk about crime.
What's up, bitches?
Hello.
We're here to tell you another story about true crime.
If the police in California were to release the autopsy report of the Black Dahlia case, supposedly they have a suspect.
Oh, yes. Sierra did tell me that. I need to look into that. I do remember what I was going to say. I watched the documentary.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
So I watched the crash documentary, and I'm going to say something, and I actually think what I'm going to say is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion. So please remember, this is my opinion and my opinion only.
I have opinion on it too.
Great. So if you don't know what we're referencing, we are referencing a documentary that recently came out on Netflix that is called The Crash, and it is about a girl named Mackenzie Sherilynn who got into a car accident, we'll say, where her boyfriend Dom and their friend Davion was killed because she was driving 100 miles per hour and she drove into a building at 100 miles per hour. She is serving 2 concurrent sentences. So again, concurrent means together. 15 years to life is what she's getting, which means in 15 years, she's eligible for parole. That's what that means, is that in 15 years, and actually most of the time it's before 15 years, but in 15 years, at least she'll be eligible for parole.
Well, if you were being a good little...
Yeah, if you were being a good
inmate,
which she is not. Now, here is my unpopular opinion. I have seen, and I already talked about this last week about documentaries not being full of facts. They are full of some facts and they elude and take away some facts. So I just want to reference that. However, everybody has come away with almost the same opinion. Most people who have watched that documentary have come away with the idea that Mackenzie Sherilynn killed those 2 boys on purpose. Here is my hot take. Do I think she's guilty of murder? No. Do I think she's guilty of manslaughter? Yes. Do I think she should be in prison? Yes. And let me tell you why. The evidence they had against her as to why she is a murderer is because they could not find any evidence of her pressing the brakes prior to the accident. They also had evidence of the car shifting from drive to neutral before the accident, and they had evidence of the steering wheel swerving back and forth before the car accident. My honest opinion is this. I think something happened in that vehicle between her and her boyfriend, and she got pissed off and started driving fucking erratically, drove 100 miles per hour, and killed them. Now, I don't think her outcome was to intentionally kill them. I don't even know if I would say her outcome was to intentionally wreck the car. And I'm saying this because I was a teenager once too. And I know what it's like to have a really bad temper and drive really fast. I know people who do that when you get pissed off and you drive really fast. Now I'm going to follow that up with, I think she's a fucking asshole. Do not get me wrong. I'm not standing up for her. I think she's an asshole. I think that she is somebody who deserves to be in prison. And I do not think she's taking her prison sentence seriously. And that bothers me to the core. I just am saying that I can't come out and say that I can't find, if I would have been on the jury, I would not have been able to find her guilty of murder because I just can't see the solid proof of murder. I can't see it. I'm struggling to see it. I understand what their idea was. But I know I was a teenager once too. I was friends with people like her. And I personally have had a friend who was killed in a car accident because of racing. And guess what? The brakes were not pressed in that car either. And I would never have said that the driver had killed my friend on purpose. So my point that I'm trying to make is that she is guilty of manslaughter and she should be doing jail time for sure. She's an asshole. I think she thinks she's better than everybody else. And I think she thinks she's entitled. And I don't think she deserves to get any money or anything from the documentaries and stuff like that. But I do not think that she did it on purpose. That is my true thoughts. However, there's a little inkling in the back of my brain that also does go, And if she did it intentionally, she meant to kill herself as well. But that's a little bit harder. I don't know if I actually really truly think that. I don't think she'll get out in 15 years because she has a rap sheet of shit that she has done in the last 3 years in prison. And this is what pisses me off about her. She's not taking it seriously. She doesn't give a fuck. And so therefore she deserves to sit her ass in jail. That is my hot take. What about you?
I think it was a scare tactic gone wrong.
Correct. I totally agree with you. I didn't even know that's how you felt. And I 100% agree with you. That's what I mean by I don't think it was intentional.
Oh, and by the way, for those of you that don't know, my parents watched it. I already knew about the documentary, but my parents had watched it and then I had watched it separately.
Yeah, we didn't watch it together.
We didn't watch it together.
Nope. And that's funny that you, and that is exactly how I felt.
I knew a little bit about the story before, but not enough for me to be like, well, I already know this. I already know that. But based on that documentary, I would say it's a scare tactic gone wrong. I think her and Dom probably got into some sort of argument, as it seems like they fucking always did. Toxic relationship. And I think she got pissed and started driving fast. And I think the minor swerving and the neutral to drive was Dom's way of trying to
I agree.
Stop the car, or Davion, one of the two.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously they're from that area, but you're not going to know every single tiny road that you live in. Or at least I know here where I live, that's not going to be the case. So I think it was one of those, she didn't realize it was possibly like a building. I know. Oh shit, because you're going 100 miles an hour.
No, I definitely.
Your reaction's going to be like, you're not going to be able to react quick enough. To be able to stop the car before it hits that building, unless you, and it's
that's what I was going to say is
it's at night.
She knew that building was there because she drove that road all the time. However, at 100,
it was also at night too.
100 miles per hour, your reaction time. By the way, let me clarify something. When we talk about there's a little like black box or whatever in the car that can record, and it records 5 seconds before impact. It goes back 5 seconds before what they deem would be an impact. So she did not press the brakes for 5 seconds before the impact. I'm going to be honest with you, 100 miles per hour, that 5 seconds, that's quick reaction time.
5 seconds, that's like NASCAR level.
Right. That's quick reaction time. And if she was busy arguing, yelling, or fighting, or trying to fight.
Or even if she looked at him to say, fuck you.
Correct. I can honestly, that is exactly when I say it wasn't intentional. It's exactly what I meant. I think something happened. I don't think she was like, I'm going to kill them today. I just do not think that was it. The part that I will say is I know people are going to say, but how come she wanted to lie? Because she actually had told her mom that she wanted to say she had passed out. To be honest with you,
you're probably fucking scared.
Yeah.
You're a 17-year-old child who just killed 2 fucking people. I'd be terrified out of my mind.
Yes. And to be fair, to this day,
especially if it was really on accident.
Well, and to this day, she claims that she doesn't remember. And a lot of people say that's bullshit. And to be honest with you, I can't even say that because PTSD, traumatic events can trigger you to have memory loss. So it's very possible that she really truly does not remember, because she also was injured in the accident. So
the whole POTS thing,
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe the POTS thing.
The biggest reason why is because in that specific documentary, which POTS, by the way, is like a blood
pass
pressure
out.
disorder. It is a real thing.
It is a real thing. I don't believe she has it.
Even if she does, I don't think the fucking family knows exactly what they're talking about, because the mom was saying, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And then they turned to Mackenzie and she goes, you basically just pass out.
Yeah. And
then also in the courtroom, the mom was like, well, it's controlled. Well, if it's supposed to be random moments, and Mackenzie just said she could have it sitting there right then and there.
If you have POTS, you shouldn't be driving because you can randomly pass out. That is true. Your blood pressure drops, you end up passing out. So right, she shouldn't be driving. So if that was true, and also they never provided medical documentation that she was diagnosed with it. So therefore, I don't believe the POTS thing. I think they were trying to come up with an excuse that would excuse away the accident, instead of just being honest and being like, I was fucking pissed off, I was driving erratically, I fucked up, because that still would have been manslaughter, because the intent was not there. She was unable to prove that she had no intent.
If she were to have been not in the car when the car wrecked, I could argue potential murder.
I just have a hard...
Honest to God, if it was like intentional that she yeeted out of the car.
Right, which who would at 100 miles per hour?
But I could see that being intentional murder. But the only thing that bothers me, part of what bothers me, and I know sure it might be just the norm, but I've seen documentaries where people don't do this. The part that bothered me is at the end of the documentary, the host was like, oh, is there anything else that you want to say or something? He had asked a question of some sort, and I don't remember how she answered it, but All of a sudden she looked
looked at her
over and she
lawyer.
goes, did I answer all of it correctly?
So here's my thing. That doesn't bother me, and here's why it doesn't bother me. If I am somebody who is
or
sitting,
did I say the right thing?
I
think is what she said.
She said, "Did I touch on that?" She said, "Did I
No, but
touch
there was
on
something
that?"
else that she had
And she
said.
goes, "And I don't want to say anything that's like going to be incriminating or anything." Now, here's the reason why I actually agree with what she did. If I'm somebody who is sitting in jail for murder, and I truly did not commit murder, or maybe I did, and I was trying to get out of it, but she's going for a retrial. That's what she's doing. Her family is coming up with, as they claim, receipts that prove that this was not intentional, and they want a retrial. If you want a retrial, you are going to have a lawyer sitting next to you to make sure you don't say anything that could potentially harm you from getting that retrial. Knowing also, by the way, again, this is a documentary that is put into place by Netflix and directors. And their intent of this documentary is not to just inform you. Their intent is to sway you in one way or the other.
And I feel like she maybe possibly thought that this documentary was going to be in her favor. And
they
I feel
did.
like
No, her
was
dad came
not.
out. Nope. Her dad came out and said that they were really disappointed in how the
Yeah, I
documentary
was saying,
went.
to me, that documentary did not prove that it was
Nope.
in her favor.
And again,
and the whole Rosie not fucking talking to the lawyer or the detective lawyer guy, but then the guy was like, well, I'm curious what she has to say because she won't talk to us.
I mean, the whole thing is weird, but all I'm going to say is this. There was not one point in that whole entire documentary where I was like, oh yeah, she fucking did that on purpose. Not one time. I watched it, but I did look, multiple times I looked over at my husband and I was like, she's a fucking asshole. And when they interviewed her in prison, I even said, like, she's fake as fuck. She doesn't look like she's really that sad about it.
You can just tell by her body language and her eye movement at certain points that she is lying.
She's faking. Yeah. So I'm not saying she's a good person, because I don't think she is.
Like, even when she said that she thinks about it every day,
you can tell she's a liar.
No,
she's totally lying. But I just don't think it was intentional. What I think, honestly, as to why she reacts like that while she's in prison is because she's in fucking prison. She's in prison and she's got to, because also if you noticed, if you watch the documentary and you listen to her voice, it's completely changed. She's all like thuggish now. I'm thuggish, whereas before she wasn't. It's because she's becoming somebody who hangs out with the lifers. That is where she hangs out with, is the lifers in prison. A lot of the times people in prison, when you're in prison for life, what do you have to lose? Really? Nothing. So you change your personality and you become hardened. People think that that's a joke. It's not. When you're in prison, you come out a different person. That is what's going on. She's been in prison for 3 years. So like she's already had 3 years worth of prison that is being built upon her. So she's becoming a more prison attitude type person. I think she looks like an asshole. And I don't think that she thinks about them every day. I think she's kind of like, whatever, like, here I am. Because what are you supposed to do? Yeah, you just accept it and move on. That's what she's done. She's accepted the fact that, yeah, she needs to serve her time and move on. That's it. But I don't think it was intentional. And I know a lot of people are going to totally disagree with me. And I'm sure if her family were to hear this, they'd be really upset. Not her family. The family of the victims would be really upset. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from an outsider's point. I have no connection to any of these people. And I'm looking at it like, I can understand how if it was my son that was killed, 100% I would want the person to go to jail for murder, because my son is dead. But because I don't, my son's not the one, I can look at it and go, yeah, that's manslaughter at best. She still should be in prison for 15 years. I don't disagree with that, but not as a murderer, as manslaughter charges, period. It was a fucking terrible, like you said, it was like a, what did you say? Not threat. What did you say? Scare tactic gone wrong. I agree with you. Anyways, that is not actually what we came here to talk about. We just took a whole chunk of time about that, but I wanted to let y'all know that I did watch it, and Sierra did watch it, and I was curious about what she thought. And this is actually the first time I heard her thoughts, because I hadn't asked her until today. So that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about something else. We are here to actually talk about, this week's episode is interesting because it's a true crime, but unsolved and a little kind of spooky. It's kind of everything wrapped into one. So what we're talking about is in 2009. Okay, Sierra likes it when I don't do the old ones. This is in Oklahoma, and the Jamison family, whole ass family, disappears. Their remains are later found, but this today still remains unsolved. Okay, so we're going to start out by just telling you a little bit about who the family is. So the family is Sherilynn and Bobby, and then they have a daughter. That's who the Jamison family is. So Sherilynn actually meets and falls in love with Bobby Jamison in 2002. They get married in 2004. And not too long after they get married, they have a little girl named Madyson. So it's Sherilynn, Bobby, and Madyson. Now, it seems like the couple liked their little life. They loved their family. They would often go long periods of time without really contacting their own family members because they had their own life. Honestly, that's literally me. That's literally me. Is it not? Is it not our family, Sierra?
No, 100%.
Like we literally, it's like my family, myself and Sierra, her brother and my husband, the four of us, we have created our own life. And, you know, we contact our other family members, but not very often. We basically just kind of like stick to ourselves. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Now because again, you focus, once you have your own family, you kind of focus all your time on what you can do for your family. And I kind of feel like that's what Sherilynn and Bobby were doing with Madyson. Now, the family lived in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and some would say that the couple lived a pretty high standard of living. Some people even said that they would live like above their means. To be fair, no judgment. Literally, most of us do. Most of us live far fancier lives than we probably should because we don't have the money, but we pretend that we do. Now, it's also said that the family was concerned that their home was invaded by spirits. Evil spirits, to be exact.
The demon.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Now, both Bobby and Sherilynn actually believe their house was haunted. They both had complained that they were being harassed by spirits in their homes. In their home, not their homes. Sherilynn's best friend, Nikki, she actually had said, quote, "But in all seriousness, that house was haunted. I don't want to sound crazy, but whenever I went there, I felt a horrible presence. I would leave feeling so down and depressed." So there is a good chance that their house was also haunted with evil spirits. Now, the other thing is that during this time, both Bobby and Sherilynn were on disability and they were unemployed. So Bobby had been in a car accident in 2003 and he was suffering from chronic back pain. And so therefore he was unable to work, which put him on disability. And Sherilynn was struggling with her mental health. She had some mental struggles. She was diagnosed with bipolar. And it was also said that she did not take her medication regularly, as you should when you are on a type of medication for mental health. Now, the couple decides they would like to move their little family to Red Oak, Oklahoma. So at this point, when they've made this decision, they withdraw their daughter, who is 6 years old, from school, and they start to homeschool her. And then they start to look around for the perfect location for their family to relocate to. This brings up 40 acres. It's a 40-acre lot near the San Boy Mountains. Boy? Bois? I'm not sure. San Bois? San Boy? B-O-I-S. Okay? That's how you say it. Now, this, by the way, was a plot of land. No house was on it, no nothing. But their plan was to live in a shipping container home, which is not unheard of, people.
That's still a thing today.
Yes, many people have taken shipping containers and turned them into beautiful homes.
Or like barns, a
Yes, a barn dominium.
That's a dream home of mine.
Now, to be fair, they already had a shipping container on their current property. And so I think they were planning on just literally taking the shipping container, moving it. And I don't know if they were planning on adding them, but at the time they had one shipping container that they wanted to turn into a home. They wanted to put it on this property. So they were pretty much set that this is where they wanted to live. Now, on October 8th of 2009, the couple, along with their daughter, decide that they're going to just kind of start exploring the locations around the area, including the lot that they were wanting to buy near the mountains. They also did not want the real estate agent to join them on this journey for the property. The reason of that is unknown, but my guess would be that if they want, I am an antisocial being. So if I could go explore 40 acres of property that I'm interested in buying without the real estate agent down my fucking back, I'm going to go do that by myself. And so they go and do that. Well, the last time that the family was ever seen was October 9th, 2009. The last time they were seen alive. Now, on October 17th, 2009, there are some hunters who are out in the wilderness. They come across an abandoned vehicle, and it's just northwest of the Red Oak, Oklahoma area. And they decide to call this abandoned truck into the police. Now, the police initially are like, they're talking to the people on the phone. They're like, you know what? Honestly, it's probably a stolen vehicle. Somebody probably stole it, ditched it in the woods. Not a big deal. To which the people who are calling this in, the hunter, is like, No. I'm pretty sure this car has been here for quite some time. And I don't know if it's been stolen because there's stuff inside of it. So you might want to just come check it out. So they do. So the police go to the car. They find this truck. No bodies are in the car. However, inside the car is the Jamison family dog, Maisie. Now, Maisie is extremely malnourished and super dehydrated, but she is alive. And she's a little tiny, like black and white, little like fluffy ball. They also find ID cards, wallets, cell phones, GPS system, and $32,000 in cash. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually think the $32,000 in cash was to buy the property. That's what I honestly think it was. But it was strange to other people because they said the Jamisons were not known to carry large amounts of cash with them places. So they thought it was strange that cash was found in the car. There was also an 11-page letter that was found that was written by Sherilynn. And this letter literally was basically just criticizing Bobby for being a hermit and not taking care of his family. Also at one point claiming that she wanted to get a divorce. Now, this, of course, makes the police think that the family did not just up and abandon this vehicle. One, the dog. You're not just going to leave. Well, most people would not just leave your dog. But two, you left all your belongings, including your jackets and clothing, like everything. So they begin an investigation. Police are able to look at footage from their home surveillance system. So that's part of their investigation. And they find the day the family left the home. So they go back to when the family supposedly left the home. They find footage of them. And it shows the couple continually going in and out of the house to the truck, loading the car. But it appears that they did it in silence. And it was quoted as to say that they looked like they were not talking to each other. They were not talking to anyone. They were just going back and forth. They also had their movements being described as trance-like, as if they would like stop and stare off into space sometimes. However, I'm going to just point out here really quick. I saw the footage myself. Okay, this footage you can see. This is footage from 2009. Please remember, it's grainy as fuck and choppy as shit. Like choppy as shit. Like when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, they look like they're like zombie-like, but it's like cutting, like it's cut. Because it's 2009. It's not 2026 footage. So I actually would disagree with the fact that they looked like they were in silence and they looked like they were zombie-like and trance-like. Because when I watched it, I was like, no, you're literally getting little snippets. It's like you're getting pictures of them every like 5 seconds. No, probably like every 1 second is a new picture, but it's not a fluid motion. So I don't know how the hell you would be able to look at that and say that they weren't talking to each other or that they were in trance-like things. Like I didn't get that vibe. But they also were able to see that in the video, Sherilynn takes a briefcase from the home, puts it into the vehicle. Now this is important because this briefcase is never and has never been found. Also, Sherilynn also carried a gun with her. Her gun has also never been found. Now, police utilize every resource they can. They use search and rescue dogs. They use people on horseback. They use helicopters. They do land searches with volunteers because they're trying to find these people because in their mind, they're like, well, if they're not in the car, maybe they're somewhere in this vicinity. Maybe we can find them. Now, they do look at Bobby's phone, and inside of Bobby's phone, they do find the last 2 pictures that were taken on Bobby's phone were pictures of Madyson. However, the pictures don't look like she really is very comfortable in them. Some would even say she almost looks like she is scared because her arms are crossed across her body. One of them, she's with her dog. And then the next picture, her arms are crossed across her body and she is smiling, but it's not like a regular smile. It's like a very...
It's like the half-assed, like...
Yeah, and it looks very forced. Yeah. And so people are very...
The help me smile.
Yeah. People are very immediately are like, okay, something's not right. Then there's also a witness. Now, this witness happens to be the last person who ever have seen the family alive. And what he said was that he never saw the family come back down from the mountain. His home is about 1/4 mile away from where their vehicle was found. And he had said that he saw them go up the mountain, but he never saw them come back down. He also said, I've never saw anybody else come in or leave this area. And it's like a one way in, one way out like area. So he's like, I don't know. Now, police also discover that Bobby, at one point prior to all this, had asked his pastor if there were bullets that were made that would kill spirits. like special bullets to kill spirits because his
A fucking ghost hunter.
yeah, his goal was to basically get these special bullets and try to kill the spirits in their house. And Sherilynn, also prior to this incident, had made a claim that someone had poisoned her cats in her current home. She even took to a point where she spray painted the metal shipping container that I told you they had in their property that was going to move with them. She actually sprayed on there, quote, "Witches do not like it when their cats are killed." So maybe some interesting things going on. After this, the case goes cold. They find not enough of anything to help find a closure to this. That is until November 16th, 2013. So about 3 miles away from where the vehicle was found, there were some deer hunters who found skeletal remains. It looked to be that of maybe 2 adults and 1 child. Now, the remains were found laying side by side face down in the dirt, which is fucking weird. Soon it is discovered that these are indeed the remains of the Jamison family. The cause of death could not be determined because of the state of the decomposition of the bones, and they sat out in the elements for so long. And of course, it's in the woods. There would have been animals and all kinds of things that happened, so they could not actually determine a cause of death. Now, there have been some theories as to what could have possibly happened to the family. Some have suggested that the family was plagued by demons from their haunted home. I mean, listen, it could be true.
Sure.
I don't know how that led to their death in the woods, but I get it. Others have suggested that the family may have wandered into the area and gotten lost. Now, during this specific time when they did get lost or when they did die, the weather was 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And maybe they got turned around and died of hypothermia. And remember, their jackets were found in their car. So they went out without jackets on. Another thought is murder-suicide, because Sherilynn's note that was found talking about Bobby and not wanting to be with him. Also, again, Sherilynn had a gun, but her gun has never been found. However, I'm going to be honest. If it was a murder-suicide, her gun would most likely still be somewhere in that vicinity of the area. And they also were not able to find any gunshot in any of the bones. So, that kind of puts that one to rest, I think. There was also the idea that the family was killed in a ritual cult killing. Sherilynn's mother specifically said, and I quote, "Like I've said from the very beginning, I think somebody killed them. There's just no way that Bobby and Sherilynn would ever let anything happen to Madyson unless something had been done to them." So she's basically saying, like, there's no way that those two would have let anything happen to their daughter unless they were already dead first. Like, they would have literally died trying to save their daughter. If it was something like that, and to be fair, again, that's her saying that somebody came and took them and killed them. Now, another theory that I found was that the family had faked their deaths to be put into WITSEC because they saw something that they weren't supposed to. However, if they're able to identify the DNA of the bones, then that probably would take away the faking of the death thing. There was also talk about Bobby being involved in a lawsuit with his father. So apparently he had been in a lawsuit with his father. His father had supposedly threatened the family, and he also had threatened to hit Bobby with a car in 2008. So a lot of people were like, maybe why are you laughing?
Who the fuck threatens to hit? Bitch, I'm going to hit you with my car.
I'll literally do it. I'll do it. I'll hit you with a car. But, apparently.
Grandma's got it covered. Don't worry.
Apparently, they think, some people have thought that maybe the father finished his threat, basically. Again, I'm not buying it.
I'd probably believe the demon one over that
right?
one. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree. People have also made mention that Bobby's father had been involved with meth and criminal activity, and so that could have potentially led to something. Okay, so there's that. So the thought along that line is that his father had killed the family. But like I said, I have to make it clear that there was never any indication that this was actually the case. Police looked into this, and they were able to completely rule this out as an option. So no, his father, as of this point, did not kill his son. And honestly, if he was going to kill him, he said he was going to hit him with a car. So that probably would have been what he did. Probably would have hit him with a car. Now, another theory was that this was a drug deal gone bad. There were claims that the Jamisons were involved in drug dealing. And so they were thinking that maybe they had gone out to this property, met some people to do a drug deal, because that's where people claim the $32,000 in cash came from. Because, again, in the surveillance video, Sherilynn is seen with a briefcase, like a brown briefcase that has never been found. So the thought was that was full of drugs. They got $32,000, but then they were killed for it. My honest opinion on that one is if that was true, they would have just left him dead in the car. They would have just left him dead in the car. I don't think, and I can genuinely say, I don't know these people, but I'm thinking based off what the mom said, I don't think Sherilynn and Bobby would bring their daughter to a drug deal. That's my honest opinion. It doesn't sound like that's the kind of people they were. Whether they were dealing drugs or not, most drug dealers are not bringing their children to a big fucking drug dealer. A big deal. They're just not doing it. So I've even seen that some believe that they were kidnapped and taken and then killed. However, I genuinely feel like this is not the case, because if this was true, why wouldn't the kidnappers have gone back and taken the $32,000? like any of the scenarios that involve somebody taking them, why did you leave $32,000 cash into that car? You would not do that. So as of today, this case is still unsolved. And I think it's going to honestly remain that way. I don't think they'll ever be able to solve it, because they found the bodies, but they have zero ways to be able to identify how they were killed. So I think that in itself is not helpful. The fact that it was a secluded area is also not helpful. So first of all, do any of these theories stick out to you?
So there's one that I came up with in my head.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. It doesn't matter. I'd love to hear it.
Be like, Sierra, that's the most asinine thing.
Okay, well, I want to hear it anyways.
I have trauma from Tennessee. It's why. I think two things. I mean, I can see the potential, maybe murder suicide, but not in the form of gunshot, maybe drugging them type of thing. I'm not leaning towards that one. Okay. Out of all the ones that you had mentioned, because
there's a lot.
A fuck ton. This, I feel like this is the most theories on an unsolved one that we've ever done.
Because nobody knows what the hell happened.
I can believe the hypothermia one. Pretty high. That's pretty high on my list. Okay. Because of also how their bodies were. Almost like they were probably trying to keep their daughter
huddle
warm
together. Okay.
But the one that kind of I came up with in my brain.
This is Sierra's top-notch brain.
Not necessarily top-notch.
Top-notch brain working right now.
Was that they had car troubles.
Okay.
Went to go find help. And Appalachian people came and fucking killed them. But that's also why they didn't take the $32,000.
This is Oklahoma.
I'm sure Oklahoma has some sort of Appalachian people. I'm just saying. I don't know. There is a part of me that wonders, did they run into somebody they shouldn't have?
Yeah.
And if they had car trouble situation left from the car, those people wouldn't take the $32,000.
Yeah.
But then where's the gun? Where's the briefcase? But I don't know. What if in the briefcase there was something in there and those people...
Some people have said they wonder if the $32,000 cash was in that briefcase.
Which would make a lot of sense.
And then I don't know why the briefcase wasn't there anymore, but that is what some people believe that's how they were carrying the cash.
The problem is this is one that is so little evidenced. It's all theory.
Yep.
Literally all of it is theory based. And to not have a definitive, even with bones, because even with bones, they've had other cases that they've been able to explain cause of death via the bones.
Right.
And to know that because they cannot definitively look at you and say gunshot wound, stabbing, starvation, whatever the case is, that's why I'm leaning closer and higher towards the hypothermia kind of deal.
So so that's you. My theory, or my honest opinion, is that the family was there to look at this property. They had the money. They had $32,000 either to buy it cash or put down money. I don't know what the price of it was, but I think they brought the cash with them. And they wanted to go see this property to make sure this was the place. I think they left the car in the middle of the day looking for either a place where they thought they would want to put their not
And
storage,
probably got lost.
their
House
thing.
You can call it a house because that's what they were.
Sure.
Gonna
Yes.
have
Where
it
they
be.
where
It
they
was a
wanted.
home.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, fair. So where they wanted to put their house, or maybe they went out to just be like, wow. I mean, because 40 acres is a lot.
Maybe they
A
were
lot.
exploring
Yeah.
the acreage.
Maybe they were just looking around and be like, wow, this is all going to be ours. Let's take Madyson and be like, let's show her what her world's going to be like when we're living here. And I think that they went in the middle of the day when it wasn't so cold. So they left their jackets and everything in the car, thinking they're probably going to be out for like an hour or so and come back. I think they probably got lost and couldn't find their way back to the car because, again, their bodies were found 3 miles away. So they explored so far and probably got turned around. And then I think as far as the dog being left behind, I think they left the dog behind because they weren't planning on being gone for very long, and it's going to be a lot easier to explore.
Fucking acres. What if your dog gets loose? You're not going to go fucking search for Fluffy all goddamn night.
How are you going to explore if you're also trying to concentrate on your dog, especially in the wild?
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you were going to be somebody who is taking your dog
with wildlife,
that's what I was going to say. And their dog was little. Like I feel
you're
like it was
to get a munchy treat.
Yes. So I feel like I feel like they left the dog,
which could be another theory of wildlife.
Correct.
Getting to them.
I agree.
I agree
with
the whole like that's why I can believe the hypothermia one.
Yeah.
And then also in turn with that I could believe wildlife getting to them in some way, shape, or form as well.
Here's the hypothermia thing for me. I actually think they were attacked by wildlife. I don't think they died of hypothermia because it was 40 degrees. 40 degrees does not typically put you in hypothermia. That's just the way it is.
No, but I wonder if the daughter could have.
Maybe, but when I was reading a bunch of information,
they're not gonna leave their daughter.
No, but when I was reading a bunch of information, they were talking about how like 40 degrees.
I lived in the negatives, so
right. Well, and with the three of them, their body they would have been cold. I'm not saying they would have been shivering, freezing, but it would have probably taken more than that. More than a day, but to be fair, I'm guessing that they died within a day. They could have been lost for a couple of days before they died. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so I guess that's true.
The only other thing that's weird about the wildlife, though, is I don't think it would have been as put together
that's
of
true.
A scene.
No, you're right.
If it was wildlife,
if their bones were lined up, because the thing about the wildlife, the only reason I said the wildlife,
they would have brought it back to their habitat or wherever. Or eating it there.
The only reason I say the only reason I was talking about wildlife is because there were a lot of hunters out there. So there's obviously a lot of wildlife out there. And so that in itself was interesting. But I'm the same. My number one thought process was that they got lost. Mm-hmm. I don't think this was done purposefully. I don't think there was anything terrible. I think they were just trying to do something with their daughter and have a new life. And they got turned around and couldn't figure out. However, there is one little tiny theory that's in the back of my brain that I didn't read anywhere else that I can't figure out why this isn't a theory. Okay. Again, they were found 3 miles. I want to reiterate, this is a 6-year-old child. That's a really long way for a child to walk. 3 miles in the woods. So that already is kind of like, well, that's a long way to walk. What about the witness? We just pretend like, what about the witness? What about the guy who literally lived a quarter of a mile from where their truck was found? Quarter of a mile from where their truck was found. Never saw the truck himself. Also, he said he saw them leave and never come back. He didn't think to call that into the police. He didn't think that watching this family leave and then not come back, he didn't think he'd give a ring-a-ding-ding and be like, hey, this family's gone. Not and 8 days later, you still see that truck there. You didn't think to call the police one time. It took hunters who found it to call the police. And then when you were asked about it, your response was, well, I saw him go, but I never saw him come back. And I never saw anybody else go in there. So I don't know. So in the back of my brain, I go, or was it that guy? Because you're the last one to see him alive. You admit that you saw them alive. You said you saw them leave. You also said you saw them never come back to their car. And again, you never called the police. How is that not? If I'm in my woodsy ass area by myself and I see this family or person or truck or car that's parked a quarter of a mile down the road from my house, and I happen to see these people get out of the car, and then 3 days later, 4 days later, 7 days later, 9 days later, their car is still sitting in the same spot it was, I'm probably calling the police because something's not right. And he is not the one who did it. So while I want to believe the hypothermia thing, I do think there is a part of me that's like, or that guy literally, something happened and that guy killed them and placed them in the woods 3 miles away, dead. Because the only thing about the hypothermia thing that trips me up is they were face down. They were face down. First of all, if you are going to be huddling up, you're going to be clumped together in a pile or, suction cupped together, probably not facing your face in the mud, which is what they were doing. Their bodies were found face down. To me, face down means that you were put there, killed there, whatever, but you were laid face down. And again, remember, it was 40 degrees, so it's cold. You're laying cuddled up, right? If you're freezing, you're cuddling together, probably sitting and trying to find ways to keep each other warm. Laying face down side by side is not how you would lay if you were trying to stop yourself from dying of hypothermia. So that leans me more towards somebody killed them. Who? I'm betting it's the guy who lives a quarter of a mile away from their truck that was found and didn't call the police. You are welcome. I just solved your case for you. So Oklahoma Police Department. I'm sorry, not Oklahoma. I mean, it is Oklahoma, but Red Oak, Oklahoma. If you haven't looked into that guy more seriously, let's take a gander. Let's take a good hard gander as to why that guy didn't report anything suspicious until he was asked about it. And that guy said, "Oh no, I saw him, but I never saw him come back down." Like, come on. That's like Detective 101. So anyways, you're welcome. Case solved. I don't know who the guy is because they didn't say, but that's probably the answer. But in all seriousness, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what happened to this family. I think it's a true mystery, which is why I said it's like spooky, but mystery, unsolved, but murder, because they died. There's no reason. We don't know what happened. And their house was, as people said, was haunted with scary spirits. So it's all wrapped into one. This is why I don't go to haunted houses, because I don't want demons on me and put me in the woods to get killed in a mysterious environment. No, thank you. So anyways, that's the story of the Jamison family. So I hope you guys liked it. I know we took it, this episode, like the first half was talking about the crash. So I'm kind of glad we actually chose, because this was a little bit shorter of an episode, but I thought it was a fun one because it's not fun. I say that and then I feel like an asshole every time because I don't mean it's fun. It's not fun.
Interesting.
Thank you. It's an interesting one because there is no solution. There is no...
Well, there's not even like at least all the other ones that we've done, there's enough theories that we could realistically be like, okay, yeah, that could definitely
one
have been
makes
the
the
thing.
most sense.
Or like, I know there was one where like we were like, well, she did have a stalker, so that's, that would probably make the most sense. Like,
right.
We can kind of deduce it a little bit more to be like, I could believe that one over this one, or that one over this one. This one, it's like the only one. If you were to look at me and say, well, which one do you believe? Like I said, the hypothermia one is the only one that I realistically can believe, and even then, there's something in me that's like, I don't even believe that.
That me too. That's why I brought up the guy, because I'm like that.
See, even with the guy, I don't even definitively like. I can see it,
you're not
like,
wrong.
I don't even definitively,
you're not wrong.
Like,
that's why I'm saying it's like I in my brain, I'm like, I can come up with two theories that would make sense, but there's still pieces of it that doesn't make sense. There's so many
theories that, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some theories in there that I was like, that's just you're pulling something out of your ass. But most of them, I was like, I mean,
it could
be.
It could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel the same way. At the end of the day, it's a fucking sad situation because the people who knew the Jamison family said
nobody will get their answers.
No,
ever.
They'll never get their answers. And Bobby and Sherilynn, whether they were fighting or had a shitty marriage or not, they both loved the shit out of their daughter. And they wouldn't have put her in harm's way to be killed. So the end of the day, I can definitively say I feel like something bad happened to them. I don't think they did this to themselves. Whether it be they got lost, it was an accident, murder, suicide, somebody killed them. I don't think that they purposely went out there, though, to die. That's about the only thing that I can say about it. That's the only thing I can say about it. So anyways, thank you very much for listening to us as we chit-chatted about all kinds of things. We do appreciate you. We appreciate all of the support that we have received from you guys over the little while. I am going to give you just a little update really quick. So Sierra, as you know, I'm living with Sierra now, but in a month I'm going to be moving. And so I'm going to try my damnedest for Sierra and I to continue to release episodes every single Tuesday as we normally do. However, there may be some times where I can't release it on Tuesday. It's just going to depend because I got to work with Sierra's schedule and my schedule.
Or you could hear more of Jay too.
Yeah,
if it really
you're right. You
it.
may have some episodes where Jay from Fatal Blend might step in because we're going to be living 2.5 hours away from each other, which is not that long, but between her work schedule and then my schedule, I have to be able to come down. My goal, not come down. I have to be able to come to her house. My goal is to meet with her at least every other week. If not every other week, it'll be once a month where we record like 4 or 5 podcasts back to back to back to back. But if there's going to be times where I run out or I don't have them, I will have, like, maybe you're right. Maybe Jay will step in every once in a while so that we don't.
There could be the slim chance that we talk about doing video because you can do video.
Yeah.
Like the Kelsey brothers are a great example. You can do videos where you are virtual.
Well, and we can do that here with our stuff that we have with our podcasting equipment. I can do it to where she and I are not together. It's just, I don't think the sound quality is as good, but you may find that too. You may find a point where the sound quality doesn't sound as good because we're in the middle of, we're not at the same place.
This isn't our job. This is what we like to do for fun.
I mean, this is my job, but it's
like,
not Sierra's job.
But like, we still have our lives.
Sierra has a life. I don't have a life. This is my life.
Selfishly, I have a full-time job.
I was going to say, I have a life. This is my job. I have a life. I mean, I don't have a life. I don't have a life. This is my life. This is my job, but it's not Sierra's. And so I will never make it to where Sierra has to drop everything for this. I'm just going to try really hard to keep this going because, to be honest with you, if we didn't have a lot of downloads and followers, I would say no. I would just like pull the plug.
Yep.
But bitches,
bitches like the bitches.
Y'all like us enough to where it's like we just keep getting more and more and more people.
Or you secretly hate us. But
I know you could. You love to hate us. You love to hate us. But regardless, I can't just pull the plug. Right. So we're gonna do our damnedest to make it going. But I'm just letting you. I'm just letting you know.
Bear with us for the first few months before we really figure out what's gonna work best.
Yeah,
and even then, it's not always gonna be perfect.
Correct. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. But I just want to let you know that some changes will be coming in the next month or so, and also this moving business totally fucking took my idea away because I wanted to do a third podcast with Sierra and Jay, and that's not even gonna be able to happen now because Sierra is not living near us. So that third podcast could happen anyways, because that's a fun one. But Sierra she could call. We could do probably long distance for that. That would be a fun one, but she'd have to do homework, and I don't think she wants to do that.
I already fucking got homework. I don't want to.
Yeah, but your homework would just be watching movies.
Bitch, I don't even have time for that anymore.
I know. See, Sierra. Well, and okay, this is episode 91. I'm telling you now, everybody, y'all are witnesses. You have 8 episodes, 8 weeks to figure out your most favorite and least, your top 2 favorite and your bottom 2 from the last 50, just the last 50. So from episodes 50 to 99, I guess we'll say. You got to look through them. That's why I'm giving you 8 weeks to figure it out.
I'm going to have to be listening to our podcast for the next fucking 8 weeks.
Yay. No. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to just give you all some updates. Thank you so much again for listening to us tell you stories. This is the part where I'm going to tell you one last time. Thank you so much for listening to us tell you the story about the Jamison family and their really mysterious, never to be solved disappearance and death. Until next week. Catch you on the flip side, bitches.
Bye, bitches.